We will start with the session telling you about what is academic counseling and who are academic counselors specifically for the Certificate in Diabetes Care for Community Worker program. I will request Dr. Vardhani to explain us about these concepts.
As all of you know, in the conventional system, any kind of instruction is provided by the classroom teachers, and under the IGNOU system, the kind of student support that we provide is through the academic counselors. We call it as counseling because it's not a complete face-to-face teaching learning session, but then a lot of counseling support depends upon the kind of studies that the learner has already done prior to his attending the counseling sessions. So here it is a kind of, the learner prepares, jots down, areas of where he has difficulty in understanding and brings them to the counseling session where the academic counselor helps him to clarify all the concepts. In this CDCW program, academic counselors are there for both theory as well as the practicals. For theory, the classes are, the counseling is generally done by the doctors, the people who are working in the medicine OPD. And for the practicals, there's a blend, maybe the doctors also as well as the nursing faculty.
Yeah, here I would like to just clarify one thing. We prefer actually nursing for the practical skills because many a times doctors are not available for the skills. Okay. So the norms what we have kept is the theory is the medical officer who is working the medicine department will take the theory aspect. And for the practical, it is the nursing personnel who are working as a senior staff nurse, ANS or DNS, that is assistant nursing superintendent or deputy nursing superintendent, ward in charge, or it can be a senior staff nurse also who has that experience of working in medicine department for 3 to 4 years, because these are the basic skills which already we have discussed with you earlier, and that a nursing personnel can do because many a times doctors are not available, so that keeping that in point we have kept these norms.
Okay. That is how we empanel all the academic counselors, and then the counseling starts with an orientation to the academic counselors, which is usually arranged by the program in charge in consultation with the program coordinators. After the orientation is done, the first thing that the academic counselor needs to know is about the IGNOU system, for which Madam Neerja had just at the outset of this teleconference, she had oriented you about various components, various specific concepts and terminologies which are used under the IGNOU system. And so you get to understanding about what IGNOU is, how do we deal with programs, courses and the blocks and units, etc. So you get to understanding about IGNOU as such, and then specifically about the CDCW program. So once you are thoroughly acquainted with both the IGNOU system as well as the CDCW program, you are well equipped to become an academic counselor for the program. Your main responsibility as an academic counselor would be to attend the induction session where you have the first contact with the students and the program in charge, and then help the program in charge in trying to make the students understand a brief detail about the entire program. As an academic counselor, you also have to consult the PIC and work out the schedule, when you would like to conduct the classes, when you would like to have the supervised activities, the practical activities, etc. So it's a timetable kind of thing, which is schedule, which is prepared in consultation with the program in charge and the
show them also a slide little later.
Okay, so you have to be very much a part of, implementation of the CDCW program. And then you'll have to help the students, guide the students in preparing the assignment. That's very, very important, because as the student works on the assignment, he gets stuck up, he does not know how to handle the assignment. So the students generally approach the academic counselor, and you should be available. There are the student may not directly come to you, but then he can also contact you on phone or maybe through email, where you can lend support to the student. Besides that, you will have to be responsible for conducting the practical activities, and in this kind of a situation, sometimes demonstration and things like that will have to be done by you. and then coordinate the practical examination at the end of the whole CDCW program in consultation with the external examiner as well as the program in charge. That's a very, very serious responsibility because it is related to the practical examination. You also have to inform students and be with them, facilitate, interaction in the teleconference or in the radio counseling sessions and things like that. And when the students approach you during the examination time, helping them, sort of facilitating them to fill up the examination forms and get ready to, give the examination. So these are all the things. And
even students have doubts before exams. You can clarify the doubts of the students.
Yes, and over and above all this, I feel, like through my experience in Guwahati of conducting this program, although there was a very small enrollment in the first batch, I think 2 students found it, they faced a number of family problems and things like that, and they could not complete the program. And we had to go out of the way, to motivate them to see that they complete the program. So some kind of a personal counseling
that is
will
also very important aspect.
Maybe you have to do. So these are after the counseling session, it's very, very important that you maintain during the counseling attendance record of the students who are participating in the counseling. That means that there is a, the regional center will give you the attendance format where you have the name, the enrollment number, the signature of the student, and then that should be countersigned by you, certifying that these students were present for the
theory and the practical
for the counseling. Because when you put up your claim through a prescribed pro forma, the claim bills which you will be making are through a prescribed format which will be given to you by the program in charge, and who receives it in turn from the regional center. So that claim format where you make an application for claiming bills related to correction of assignments, conducting the counseling or the practical sessions, those claim bills will have to be supported by the attendance of the students, because when it comes to be passed, the claim bills have to be passed at the regional center. These will not be passed unless and until they are supported by the necessary documents. So this is something which you have to do regularly. Don't postpone it soon after the counseling. You must ensure that the claim bill is filled up along with the attendance sheet and the whole document is submitted to the program in charge. You also have to see that after evaluating the assignments, the award list is prepared and that is also given to the program in charge for onward transmission. So these are about the basic activities that an academic counselor generally performs.
I would like to add one thing more. We had made one academic counselor manual also. I will request all the regional directors and PIC to give to all the PIC and the academic counselors. It is available in the MPDD also, for specifically for all the program and for the certificate in diabetes care also, in which we give all the details about the program, what is the roles and responsibility of academic counselor, what are the various formats they have to fill up, as Dr. Vardhani has explained. This is a guide for academic counselor. Even the guidelines how to conduct the practical exam supervised activities are given in detail. So this document will be very helpful for all the academic counselors. And I think briefly Dr. Vardhani has explained you about the academic counseling and who are the academic counselor, the role and responsibilities. Now let us come again to the CDCW program theory and the practical courses. I will just tell you about the requirements the students have to do. As you can see on the slide, there is a certificate in diabetes care for community worker program has one theory course and it has only one assignment, and this assignment normally we upload at the website. Student can go, or you as a PIC and academic counselor, you can go on the website, click the student zone, and under student zone the assignment for CDCW 2012 can be downloaded and given to the student, and they will complete this assignment and give to the academic counselor. Same way we had a practical activities. Already I have explained you what is counseling session. Already Dr. Vardhani has explained you how the counseling session are being organized. I would like to put emphasis that there is a 120 hours of academic counseling is been done, that is 15 days. You can plan accordingly in you can have 1 week and the 7 days and 8 days or 10 days or 5 days according to the convenience, but attendance of 75% is compulsory for the students. If attendance is less, please send the attendance to the student evaluation division and one copy to the program coordinator, so that we come to know that student is not able to attend the counseling and they are not allowed to sit for the term end examination. So that part, I think all the PICs and academic counselor, please take into consideration. The attendance of 75% is compulsory for the theory session. Same way we had a practical assignment. There is only one assignment. If you see the assignment, already the date is given to the student on which date they have to submit. Please ensure that when students submit the assignment in time and you return them before the theory exam, so that student comes to know what are their strengths, what are their weak points, which part they have to improve and where all they have to strengthen. And this assignment, as you know, we in IGNOU, the system is we give feedback to the student in the assignment also, because they are not with us. We write the positive comments. We never write a negative, you have not done good, it is not right, or we do not underline or question mark. We always write comments which are constructive, which are positive, which will give a lead to the student. If they have missed certain aspect, what they have missed. If they have to make some diagram, which diagram to make. Please encourage them, give encouraging remarks. You have done well, but you could have included diagram of pancreas maybe. So maybe the effort is good, the writing is very good, content is very good. Like that we give a constructive comments to the student. And one assignment has to be completed before the theory exam. Then the context sessions for the practicals. The students, as already explained to you, has to carry out self activities. That is, already you will see the practical manual. The self activities are being specified, and the supervised activities are also there. But in this program we prefer the first student should do specified supervised activities rather than doing first the self activity, because many of the students, if they are not from the health sector or they are not health workers, they will not know the concepts, how to take history, how to give injection, how to do dressing. So it is my request to all the PICs and academic counselor, please see that all the students first do the supervised activities under the supervision of the academic counselor. Please clarify all their doubts, tell them how to do basic activities if they are not from the health field. Then tell them if they are working to go and do the self activities. In case they are not working, try to help them so that they will finish their self activities also in your hospital. The student has to maintain separate file for the self activity, separate file for the supervised activity. Then supervised activity will be evaluated by the academic counselors. Same way the self activity also will be evaluated by the academic counselors, and the marks will be given in the award sheet and submitted to the PIC. Here again you will see the 90% attendance is compulsory for the students for attending the supervised activity. If student is not able to complete the supervised activity this year, please do not allow the student to take the final practical exam. The student will first complete the activities, then only they are allowed to sit for the exam. These are the certain precautions we take so that the quality is maintained, so that students learn what are the objectives. They do not just sit for the sake of the exam, because when they go out they have to deal with the patients, they have to deal with the human beings. That is a very much concern of this, that how we this is the aspect how we implement. Evaluation aspect, if you see, we have two aspects, that is continuous evaluation and a term end evaluation. If you see, continuous evaluation is through assignment, as already we have explained you. Assignment is of 100 marks, but in the final it goes out of 30. This year we had made little change, we have given assignment for 30 marks only, so that you don't have to convert the marks into from the 30. So this is a part of continuous evaluation. Then term end examination. Term end examination is conducted by the university. We have a common date sheet for all over India. The exams are conducted on the same day, and student has to fill up the term and examination form and has to pay the examination fee as per the university norms. But there are certain conditions the student has to fulfill. You have to tell the student they have to get registration for the specific course. Please see that they have actually filled up in the examination form for the course they are going to apply for. Minimum time is completed for the course, that is 6 months they have completed. Before 6 months they cannot sit for the exam. They have also submitted the required assignments and the practical activities. They will fill up the examination form and the fees. The university will issue the examination hall ticket to the students at least 2 weeks before the exams. In case student is not able to get the hall ticket, they can download from the IGNOU website. They should carry their I-card along with that. Please tell all the students to carry their I-card when they go for the examination. Many a time students download the hall ticket from the IGNOU website, but they do not take the I-card. Please give this specific instruction to the students. Now, how we evaluate the practicals? Again, there is a continuous assessment and there is a final practical examination. Continuous evaluation is through self and supervised activities what you are conducting. Then practical examination is being conducted by the internal and the external examiner. One thing I would like to emphasize here, student has to have 50% individually in assignment, separately in term and examination 50%, separately 50% in self activity, separately in supervised activity 50% and 50% in final examination. It is not the overall, but student should have separately scored 50% in each component. One internal and one external examiner has to conduct the examination. What do you mean by internal and external examiner? Internal examiner is an academic counselor who has conducted practicals with the students. The ratio for the student is 1:10. That one academic counselor will supervise 10 students. If you have 20 students, you should have 2 batches and 2 academic counselor, or same academic counselor will take twice separately in 2 batches the practicals. An external examiner can be one of your academic counselors who has not taken the practical, or maybe you can invite from some nearby institution. It's very important to see that they discuss the feasibility, the date they fix up, maybe immediately after the practical session, or it depends, maybe after 1 week of the practical sessions, but it has to be before the theory exam. The final practical has to be completed. They fix up a date, they inform, PIC has to be informed when academic counselor fix up the date. Then they have to select certain activities which are to be given to the students, and there are certain criterias. I think if you will go through the academic counselor manual, you will come to know there are certain criterias we have set up how you can even select the activities for the examination. I will just tell you one, you can see the weightage. We have given you one sample here. It can be like 50 marks is there for the final practical examination. We prefer both internal and external to give separately from the 50 marks, then they take out the average. Like one of the activity can be performing procedures including collection and aftercare of the articles. Then recording of the observation can be given, or organizing any activity regarding BCC activity, or giving them to make one poster, or it can be some procedure like injection giving procedure. You will give a marks, maybe student will demonstrate the technique of insulin injection. So what students will do, you have to give them the sheet. They will write the basic points about the insulin injection. What are the points to be kept in mind? What are the steps of giving insulin injection? Then they will go and collect the articles. They will, if patients are available, they will teach the patient, or they can teach to the peer group how to give a insulin injection, how to do how they are doing the recording in the case sheet or the record book. then how they take care of after articles. These are the some of the aspects you should keep in mind when you take practical. Second activity you can give is they can organize some health education activity. They can give health education to the patient when they are traveling, what all precautions they have to take. Then you have to see what plan they make, what are the components they will include in the health education, what health education material they make. They can make a poster, they can make a, you can say a handout, they can make a brochure, whatever they want to make, they can make it. Then how they actually give the health education, and do they involve people during health education? Do they ask question in between? Do they summarize after the giving health education? Some of the components are to be kept in mind while taking the practical aspect. Then the third component will be Viva. Viva, both the examiner, internal and external, will take the Viva and give the marks. And during examination, please tell the students to bring the self and supervised activity files. It is very important that the external examiner should see the students' self and supervised activities, how they have done, what all things have been told to them, have they done the corrections or not, are they actually completed the activities or not. These are some of the components you should keep in mind while carrying out the activities. Like one example I would like to show you is, like one of the activity in the practical manual is select 2 patients in the OPD and collect history in a format. For the students, we have given what they have to do is they have to open the practical manual, practical 1, section 1.3 and 1.4. They will read this practical, they will perform this practical. The area is diabetes OPD. They will do how many activities they will do? They will do 2 activities. They will spend 10 hours on these activities and 10 marks are allocated for this. And parallel, how teachers, academic counselor will guide the student. In the academic counselor manual, the guidelines for the academic counselor are been given, how they will guide the students. So you can see here how academic counselor will help them. The academic counselor will tell them to select 2 patients in an OPD and collect history in a format. Ask the learner to read the practical 1, section 1.3 and 1.4. Explain and discuss with the learner about procedure of taking history taking using a format. Demonstrate the procedure of taking history and recording in the format. Select a space or room for making the patient comfortable for history taking. Help the learner in selecting patient in diabetes OPD. Help the learner to take the history. Observe the learner while collecting the history. Check the history format of the learner. And what are the requirements? Each learner should select 2 diabetic patients, collect history in the format and submit. And teacher will help the student to interpret the findings. So in our practical manuals, you will find everywhere for each and every activity guidelines are given. Please follow the guidelines so that it is clear to you and to the student how they have to go through these guidelines. Now about the rotation plan or the schedule, what Dr. Vardhani was explaining you that you have to make. If you see, we had made just for your convenience. You can change this. What you can do is, even you can divide into 7 days or 8 days, 10 days or 5 days, or it depends in whatever way you want to make. On the first day, you will give an induction, do induction meeting, and you can start with the block 1. When you inform the students about the induction training, please tell them that they should come beforehand. They should read the block 1 and come to the for the counseling, so that students have that vision in mind what you are going to speak. If they have doubts, they can clarify the doubts. In case everything is new for them, you can teach the basic concepts to the students. Why you have to teach certain concepts again new to the students? Because some of them have never heard about, they are not from the health sector. They may not be knowing what is diabetes as a disease. So maybe you have to make a base for them first. Basics you have to explain. So you have to take a separate effort for the students who are not from the health sector. If you go to the rotation plan for the theory, you can see here, you can divide the days. Maybe you may take 2 days or 3 days depending on you. Divide the blocks in days. Like we have divided in the 2 days, you can complete block 1, second, a third, fourth, fifth, third, fourth day you can complete block 2. Then 5th, 6th, 7th day block 3 can be completed because the management aspect is there in the block 3. Certain new concepts of the management also can be added. Then block 4 can be completed in next 3 days because block 4 contains the complications, the treatment part, how to refer, where to refer, when to refer. Then block 5 is preventive aspect where you have to teach the student the counseling techniques, health education techniques, how to make a poster. So they may take more classes, and even last 2 days we have kept, you can have revise with them, or you can give them certain activities, or you can tell them to organize some discussions. It depends how you want to conduct the theory sessions. Now if you see the practical session in the slide, even you can make a rotation plan for the practical session so that the hours, you can see here, practical 1 to 4 we have 25 hours total. So little bit more than 3 days it will overlap, 1 hour will overlap in the 4th day. So you can divide this so that students actually spend that much of hours for the each activity. Like first 4 activities you can complete in 3 days and maybe 1 or 2 hours extra on the 4th day. Then on the 4th day you can start activity 5 which may take 15 hours. Then activity 6, 7 to 9, you can see 7 to 9 again going on the 8th day. Then 9th and 10th day practical 10 is there. Then practical 11, we have practical 12, 13, 14 and 15. So 15 practical is a community visit. We have kept 3 days because they have to go to the community. They have to make a good relationship with the community. Unless they visit the community 2 or 3 times or visit a school or visit a workplace, they won't be able to build a rapport with the patients or with the people with whom they have to communicate. It's very important when they go for the community visit. For all these things they have a guideline. How they have to maintain IPR. If suppose they have to tell some principle about the diabetes or teachers and then to the students, first she has to sensitize the principal because she is the decision making authority. Then only she will allow them to take a session for the teachers and the student. It's very important for them to sensitize them, have interpersonal relationship. That's why according to the activity, please specify the time so that they go and do the actual activity. It's very important for an academic counselor to supervise all these activity, help them to identify certain places, identify the patients in OPD. If we give them a chance, they really do very wonders. One of our program study center, they have done a Nukkad Natak. That Nukkad Natak was so popular, all the patients, all the relatives, they attended and had so many questions. Even doctors were surprised. They said these patients are coming to us for months, but they have never asked us so many questions. But now after this Nukkad Natak, they are asking so many questions. Reason is, sometimes the patients have doubts in mind. Shall I ask or not? Shall I ask the doctor or not? But when we make them aware, when we sensitize them, yes, this is important for them, they do come out with their problems. They should have faith in you. They will always listen what you are telling. Now I will request Dr. Vardhani to explain us certain administrative aspects the regional centers has to support to the PIC, like opening of account, how the money will be given to them, how they will issue the checks to the PIC and academic counselor. These are some of the issues I would like you to highlight.
Thank you, Neerja. As I have already stated at the beginning, with the establishment of the program study center, the process is there. And once the study center has been established, then it is notified. So with the notification that is sent to the regional director as well as the program in charge, there the operational aspects of the region of the program study center begins with this notification. So when the notification is done, attaching a copy of the the notification, the regional director writes a letter to a bank, an identified bank, requesting the bank branch manager to issue a new account, to open up a new account in the name of the program, in the name of IGNOU, which will be operationalized, which will be operated by the program in charge, for which there is a standard format of the letter available in the regional center, and the signature of the program in charge is attested by the regional director, and the letter is issued to the bank. So when the branch manager receives this letter, then the account is opened, a number is given to the account, and the PIC becomes eligible to operate that account. With this information, the passbook is also given, and with this information, the regional director sends a certain amount as an advance, which we call as the impressed amount.
Dr. Vadni, here I would like to just ask you to explain, do the PIC has to request for the advance, or the regional center will give them?
No, it is the regional director,
Okay.
The regional center takes responsibility for giving the advance as soon as the information comes that the account has been opened. So the impressed amount is given. Now this impressed amount is actually given for some of the basic requirements that are will be needed for running the this program study center. For example, you need stationery, you need to print a letterhead in a specified format, and then you also need to put up a display board in the to inform the public about the program study center. So there is a special design for this board, which contains the name of the center, the code number of the center, and the address and the logo of IGNOU. So that kind of a format is already available in the regional center. So the board is made, then this basic stationery that is required, that is procured, as well as the letterheads are printed. So these are some of the things which you start incurring expenditures using the impressed. For each and every expenditure that is incurred, you have to maintain the vouchers, the bills, and then submit these bills on a monthly basis to the regional center.
What about the telephone bill, Dr. Vardhani?
Yes, there are certain aspects which are, which are supported by IGNOU. IGNOU reimburses the expenditure that you incur with regard to telephone,
so
postage.
they should have a separate telephone for that?
Yes, a telephone is dedicated in the program center for this, and then the bills, the telephone bill is reimbursed, you make the payment from the impressed, and then it is recouped by the regional center. So whenever you send any of these bills, for example, the postage expenditure, telephone expenditure, things like that, stationery and other things, they should be supported with all the vouchers, and these are submitted on a monthly basis to the regional center. The program in charge receives an honorarium on a monthly basis, and that is sent by the regional center to the program study center, and the PIC gets it. It goes into in the name of IGNOU, and the program in charge withdraws that amount from the impressed. The second important thing is about the secretarial assistance that is provided to every program in charge. This is given on an annual basis, a lump sum amount.
I think we give 7,500.
7,500 per year.
And this is for 6 months. Our program is 6 months.
6
so
months, but then
7,500 for 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
No. 7,500 for a year.
Okay. So they will divide
it is divided into halves.
2 installments. Okay.
So 2 installments we give it, and then you have to recommend somebody whom you want for secretarial assistance, and then that will be approved by the regional director.
We have already got approved payment norms. I think we have already sent to all the regional centers.
Yes, there is a payment norm which is available in the regional center, so you can take a copy of it from the regional center, and then make your claims on on the basis of that, every academic counselor who conducts the classes as well as evaluates the assignments, they will also put up their claims along with the attendance sheet and other supporting data to the program in charge, and you as a program in charge will have to forward it to the regional center. The bills are all scrutinized at the regional center by the administrative staff at the regional center, and only those bills which are satisfied in terms of all the supporting vouchers, these will be passed for payment, and the information regarding the passing for payment will be documented and sent back to the program study center. So the program in charge can make the payment from the imprest and then claim for recouping the imprest. It's very, very important that you send the accounts on a monthly basis. Don't please postpone the submission of the bills.
Yeah.
So you'll get all the information from the regional center, and you'll have to be in close touch with the regional center, because though it is a part-time job, the program in charge, but then you are totally responsible for the success of the program, and therefore you need to keep in touch and get your clarifications from the regional center, because the regional center has got a large number of program study
Yeah,
centers.
that's why, yeah.
So it is just a routine thing for the regional center to guide you, and but it's very important you have to keep in touch with them. And then the monthly accounts should be maintained. You need to have a cash book at the at the program study center, and a photocopy of the cash book. Send it on a monthly basis to the regional center so that they can guide you and help you if there are any mistakes that are being done. So this is how you actually function regarding the accounts and other administrative matters.
I think even for when you send the award sheet, the marks of assignment and the self and supervised activity, I would like to request all the academic counselor, please see that you write from which center you are sending, what is the program, course code, then signature with the date. In case some student is missing, has not submitted, please send separately the marks of that student. Some of the many a times what academic counselors are doing, when the student comes, they have to send the marks. What they will write, they will get it photocopy old award sheet and write in between. So that's why the marks of the student get missed here when they send it to the RC, and through RC it comes to student evaluation division. Please see that whenever you send even the award sheet, it is being all the required information is complete, it is signed and forwarded by the PIC, and keep a photocopy of that, and please send it in time so that the students' marks are being updated and student result is declared in time. Many a times what happens, when students submit the assignment, for 2-3 months assignments are not being evaluated. It is the PIC has to see that academic counselors return the assignment within the month, and especially before the theory examination. Even the self activities are being evaluated and given to the student, because our concept is the student should know what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses, where they have to improve, so that they do not continue making same mistake in the term and examination also. I think in brief, we are able to explain you, we are able to give a brief account of what is CDCW program, what are the courses, how we implement this program, how to evaluate this program, what are the certain formalities you have to complete, how you have to send the certain formats for the financial and the administrative help to the regional centers. We request all the PICs to be in touch with the regional centers and the regional directors for any help, for any clarification further. Even you can contact us for the program content, and for administrative and financial aspect, please do contact the regional centers.